Me Tangere by Jose P. Rizal. The title, in Latin meaning Touch Me Not, refers to John 20:17 in the Bible King James Version. As Mary Magdalene tried to touch the newly risen Jesus, he said, "Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father." References for the novel. Jose Rizal preferred that the prospective novel expresses the backward, anti-progress, and anti-intellectual way Filipino culture was. On June 2, 1884, Rizal proposed the writing of a novel about the Philippines written by a group Filipinos. His proposal was unanimously approved by the Filipinos present at the party. Among were Pedro Maximo and Antonio Paterno, Graciano Lopez Jaena, Evaristo Aguirre, Eduardo de Leyte, Julio Lorente, and Valentin Ventura. The publication. First is Rizal finished the novel in December 1886. Second, Rizal feared that the novel might be not printed and that it would be remain unread. Third is a financial aid came from a friend named Maximo Viola, which helped him printed his book at the Fireprint Media in Berlin named Berliner Buchdruckerei Aktiengesellschaft. The major characters. First is Crisostomo Ibarra. Crisostomo Ibarra was the son of a Filipino businessman and he studied in Europe for 7 years. Ibarra is also Maria Clara's fiancé. Several sources claim that Ibarra is also Rizal's reflection. Second, Maria Clara. Maria Clara is Ibarra's fiancée. She was raised by Captain Tiago and is the most beautiful and wildly celebrated girl in San Diego. An illegitimate daughter of Father Damasco. Third is Capitan Tiago. Santiago de los Santos, known by his nickname Tiago and political title Capitan Tiago, is a Filipino businessman and the cabeza de barangay or head of barangay of the town of San Diego. He is also the known father of Maria Clara. The fourth is Padre Damasco. Damasco Verdolagas or Padre Damasco is a Franciscan friar and a former parish curate of San Diego. He is best known as a notorious character who speaks with harsh words and has been a cruel priest during his stay in the town. Elias. Elias is Ibarra's mysterious friend and ally. He wants to revolutionize the country and to be freed from Spanish oppression.
Filosofong Tasio. Don Anastasio, seeking for reforms from the government. He expressed his ideas in paper written in cryptographic alphabet, that the future generations will be able to decipher it and realize the abuse and oppression done by the conquerors. Doña Victorina. Doña Victorina de los Santos de Espadaña is an ambitious Filipina who classifies herself as a Spanish and mimics Spanish ladies by putting on heavy makeup. Caesar, Crispin, and Basilio. Narcissa of Sisa is the deranged mother of Basilio and Crispin, described as beautiful and young, although she loves her children very much. She cannot protect them from the beating of her husband, Pedro. Crispin is Cisa's 7-year-old son. An altar boy, he was justly accused of stealing money from the church. After failing to force Crispin to return money he allegedly stole, Father Salve and the head sacristan killed him. It is not directly stated that he was killed, but the dream of Basilio suggests that Crispin died during his encounter with Padre Salve and his minion. Basilio is Jesus' 10-year-old son, an acolyte cast during the church bell for the Angelus. He faced the trade of losing his younger brother and the descent of his mother into insanity. At the end of the novel, Elias wished Basilio to bury him by burning him in chains of chaste of gold located in his background. He will later play a major role in El Filibusterismo. Having completed his studies in Europe, Juan Crisostomo Ibarra y Magsaysay comes back to the Philippines after 7 years absence. In his honor, Don Santiago de los Santos El Capitan of family threw a get-together party, which was attended by friars and other prominent figures. One of these, former San Diego curate Tiago Fray Damasco, Valdogaras, betitled and slandered Ibarra. The next day, Ibarra visits Maria Claras, his loved and beautiful daughter of Captain Tiago, an affluent resident of Binondo. Their long-standing love was clearly manifested in this meeting, and Maria Clara cannot help but reread the letter her sweetheart had written her before he went to Europe. Before Ibarra left for San Diego, Lieutenant Ibarra, a civil guard, reveals to him the incident preceding the death of his father, a rich haciendero of the town. According to Ibarra, Don Rafael was justly accused to being a heretic, in addition to being a subversive, an allegation brought by Damaso because of Don Rafael's non-participation in the sacraments, such as confession and mass. Plot. Damasco's animosity against Ibarra's father is aggravated by another incident when Don Rafael helped out on a fight between a tax collector and the child fighting, and the former's death was blamed on him, although it was on purpose. Suddenly, all of those who thought ill of him surfaced with additional complaints. He was imprisoned, and just when the matter was almost settled, he died for sickness in jail.
Revenge was not in Ibarra's plans. Instead, he carried through his father's plan of putting up a school since he believed that education would pave the way to his country's progress. All over the novel, the author refers to both Spain and the Philippines as two different countries as part of the same nation or family, with Spain seen as the mother and the Philippines as a daughter. During the inauguration of the school, Ibarra would have been killed in a sabotage had Elias, a mysterious man who had warned Ibarra earlier of a plot to assassinate him, not save him. Instead, the hired killer met an unfortunate incident and died. After the inauguration, Ibarra hosted a luncheon during which Damasco came crushing the luncheon, again insulted him. Ibarra ignored the priest's insolence, but when the latter slandered the memory of his dead father, he was no longer able to restrain himself and lunged as Damasco prepared to stab him for his impudence. As a consequence, Damasco excommunicated Ibarra, taking his opportunity to persuade the already hesitant Tiago to forbid his daughter from marrying Ibarra. The friar wished Maria Clara to marry Linares, a peninsular who had just arrived from Spain. With the help of Governor General, Ibarra's excommunication was nullified and the archbishop decided to accept him as a member of the church once again.
Maria Clara, thinking that Ibarra had been killed in the shooting incident, and was greatly overcome with grief. Robbed of hope and severely disillusioned, she asked Damaso to confine her into a nunnery. Damaso reluctantly agreed when she threatened to take her own life, demanding the nunnery or death. Unknowns to her, Ibarra was still alive and able to escape. It was Elias who had taken the shots. It was Christmas Eve when Elias woke up in the forest, fatally wounded. As it is here, where he instructed Ibarra to meet him, instead, Elias found the altar boy Basilio cradling his already dead mother, Sisa. The latter lost her mind when she learned that her two sons Crispin and Basilio were chased out of convent by the sacristan, mayor on suspicions of stealing sacred objects. Elias, convinced that he would die soon, instructs Basilio to build a funeral pyre and burn his and Sisa's bodies to ashes. He tells Basilio that if nobody reaches the place, he come back later on and dig for he will find gold. He also tells to Basilio to take the gold he finds and to go to school. In his dying breath, He instructed Basilio to continue dreaming about freedom for his motherland with the words, "I shall die without seeing the dawn break upon my homeland. You, who shall see it, salute it. Do not forget those who have fallen during the night." Elias died thereafter. Epilogue. Tiago became addicted to opium and was seen to frequent the opium house in Binondo to satiate his addiction. Maria Clara became a nun, where Salvi, who has lusted after her from the beginning of the novel, regularly used her to fulfill his lust. One stormy evening, a beautiful crazy woman was seen at the top of the convent crying and cursing the heavens for the fate it has handed her. While the woman was never identified, it is insinuated that the said woman was Maria Clara.
So, El Filibusterismo, in 13 years after leaving the Philippines, Crisostomo Ibarra returned as Simeon, a rich jeweler, sporting a bird and blue-tinted glasses, and confidant of the Captain General. Abandoning his idealism, he becomes a cynical saboteur, seeking revenge against the Spanish-Philippine system responsible for his misfortunes by plotting a revolution. So Simeon insinuates himself into Manila high society and influence every decision of the Captain General to mismanage the country's affairs so that a revolution will break out. He cynically sided with the upper classes, encouraging them to commit abuse against the masses to encourage the latter to revolt against the oppressive Spanish colonial regime. So this time, he does not attempt to fight the authorities through legal means, but through violent revolution using the masses. Simeon has the reason for instigating revolution. First is to rescue Maria Clara from the convent, and second, to get rid of ills and evils of the Philippines society. His true identity is discovered by a now grown-up Basilio while visiting the grave of his mother Sisa. Simeon was digging near the grave site for his buried treasures. So Simeon spurs Basilio's life and asks him to join in his planned revolution against the government, aiding him on by bringing up the tragic misfortune of the latter's family. So Basilio declines the offer as he still hopes that the country condition will improve. So Basilio at this point is a graduating student of medicine at the Ateneo Municipal de Manila. After the death of his mother, Sisa, and the disappearance of his younger brother, Crispin, Basilio heeded the advice of the dying boatman Elias and traveled to Manila to study. So Basilio was adopted by Captain Tiago after Maria Clara entered the convent. With Captain Tiago help, Basilio was able to go Colegio de San Juan de Letran, where at first he is frowned upon by his peers and teachers not only because of the color of his skin but also because of his chubby appearance. So Captain Tiago's confessor's father Irene is making Captain Tiago's health worse by giving him opium, even as Basilio tries hard to prevent Captain Tiago from smoking it. So he and other students want to establish a Spanish language academy so that they can learn to speak and write Spanish despite the opposition from the Dominican friars of the Universidad de Santo Tomas. So with the help of the reluctant father Irene as their mediator and Don Custodio's decision, the academy is established. However, they will only serve as caretakers of the school, not as the teachers. So, dejected and defeated, they hold a mock celebration at a panciteria, while a spy for the friars witnesses the proceedings. So, Simeon, for his part, keeps on close contact with the bandit group of Kabisang Tales, a former Kabisa di Barangay who suffered misfortune at the hands of the friars. So once a farmer owning a prosperous and sugarcane plantation and cabeza de barangay, or the barangay head, he was forced to give everything to the greedy and unscrupulous Spanish friars.